Test 1, 2, 3. Order the meeting of the Insurance Benefit and Ledge Committee for Wednesday, April 3rd.
Okay, this meeting is being conducted virtually and in person, so I will do a roll call of the trustees to confirm attendance. Ms. Ginsburg?
Here.
Mr. Razzo? Ms. Gray? Mr. Rue? Mr. Sanchez?
Here.
Mr. Oakham?
Here.
Mr. Green? Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Kehoe?
Present.
Mr. Harris?
Present.
Chair Robbins?
Present.
Staff participating in the meeting include CEO Santos Kryman, Deputy CEO Louis Lugo, AEOs JJ Popowich and Laura Guglielmo, Chief Counsel Stephen Rice, Legislative Affairs Officer Barry Liu from Retiree Healthcare, Leilani Ignacio, Consultants Stephen Murphy, Richard Ward, Michael Zito, and Debbie Donaldson from Siegel. Trustees, please use the raise your hand Zoom option to be placed in queue. At this time, we ask all meeting participants to mute your mics until you are ready to speak, and we may now proceed with the agenda. And we have no requests for a teleconference under AB 2449.
Thank you very much. That will move us to item 3A, approval of the minutes of the meeting of March 6th.
So moved. Second.
Any changes? Seeing none?
Mr. Kehoe?
Aye.
Mr. Oakham?
Aye.
Chair Robbins?
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously with all trustees present.
Item 4 is public comment. Now's the time for anyone from the public wishing to address the committee. I do not see anyone present in the meeting. Do we have any?
We have nothing.
All right. Item 5, non-consent items, Assembly Bill 2474, County Employees Retirement Law 37, kind of an interesting bill. Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Chair Robbins, and good morning, trustees. So AB 2474 is a bill that's sponsored by SACRS. It actually contains two proposals that we at LACERA had submitted to SACRS last year for sponsorship, and which the SACRS membership had approved for sponsorship. So the two proposals in here are one deals with prepaid cards, and the other one deals with the 960-hour limit for retired rehires. First, on the prepaid card proposal, this is to clarify that we can use prepaid cards as a payment vehicle. As you know, we're currently in a process of implementing a program for prepaid cards. But one of the concerns that was communicated to us about this bill was that just some unfortunate, I guess, timing in terms of the fact that prepaid cards were also used during the pandemic for unemployment benefits fraud. So there's been some concern about further use of prepaid cards here. But part of it is we've been communicating with the various stakeholders on this, and also the author of the bill, that we would make happy to make appropriate amendments to address any concerns about this. It's just sort of an unfortunate kind of a guilt by association here in terms of prepaid cards and the unemployment benefits fraud.
Yeah, can I comment on that? If we just get a vendor that has the chip in it, then that resolves the issue. The problem is the easy availability of the redoing the magnetic strip, and that's what's happened in California. Unfortunately, is not using the chip. So if we use the chip, then that eliminates that or reduces that level of fraud.
Yeah, certainly. And in terms of our RFP and our security requirements, that's one of the things that we've been communicating as to all the steps we would take to make sure that we're not like the unemployment benefits. And then the other item here is the 960 hours. No controversy with that. It's just some technical issues to work through that the SACRS Ledge Committee, some of the attorneys on that committee will be addressing. And so happy to take any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Seeing none, I need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second to support this.
Mr. Kehoe? Aye. Mr. Oakham?
Aye.
Chair Robbins?
Aye.
The motion passes with all trustees present.
We're now on reports. A, the engagement report. Mr. Liu.
Thank you, Chair Robbins. Some items of interest this month. The first one is from our friend, the National Institute of Retirement Security. They do some interesting periodic reports. This one's on retirement insecurity, which I believe they do every couple of years. Just to survey the attitudes of Americans and their views on retirement. As you can see, a lot of Americans are worried about retirement, but they also express a strong support for pensions and say that the disappearance of pensions have made it harder for financial security and to achieve the American dream. There's also a high level of anxiety amongst Americans in terms of retirement, and they do want their policy leaders to give more weight and concerns to give more of a higher priority to their retirement concerns, especially in terms of safeguarding Social Security. And that a large percentage, 87%, say that Congress should shore up funding now rather than wait another 10 years as they get closer to that insolvency point. And then lastly, Americans also worry about long-term care costs in retirement. As we've seen that Americans will continue to live longer, especially with some of the advances in the anti-obesity drugs. But in terms of government action on this, the U.S. Senate Health Committee, which deals with health, education, labor, and pensions, did hold a hearing recently on the retirement crisis, which is chaired by Bernie Sanders. And some sobering statistics here about the number of Americans without retirement savings, and the fact that about a little more than half of those 65 and older are living on less than $30,000 annually. And that kind of ties in with the fact that Social Security benefits are about $1,700 a month, which is about $21,000 annually. So definitely some sobering statistics here. One of the things is that access to defined benefit plans has declined since the 70s, when about 30% of the workforce had one, compared to about 13% today. And also there's been limited access for people to automatically save through payroll deductions, which is why you see individual states instituting their secure choice IRAs. So some of the solutions that were discussed at the hearing include expanding Social Security, also retirement security for all legislation. I know last month I reported there's a federal bill out there to do that, and also getting more comments and proposals from stakeholders on just how to bolster the defined benefit pension system. The next item is about the Rhode Island retirement system. So they shifted from a defined benefit plan to a hybrid plan back in 2011. And so the National Institute of Retirement Security looked at this change and and its effect on attrition, and found that there's been higher employee turnover, and that this can result in fewer workers providing full careers. Also, in terms of, they did a return on investment analysis in terms of how many hours of service people will provide, and that has gone down because of the attrition. And also increased turnover can affect experience and productivity. So, they sort of found some of these negative effects there. But at the same time, Rhode Island itself recently, in their budget, created a working group to assess the impact of these pension reform changes. And they were looking at some of the unintended consequences, one of which that wasn't expected was the current rate of inflation has really negatively impacted people that whose COLAs were suspended, because the pension reform would suspend the COLA until it reaches 80% funded ratio, and that's not expected to happen until 2030. But some of the things that the working group were putting forth for consideration for possible changes to the plan would include shortening the average salary period from 5 to 3 years, increasing the rate of benefit accrual, decreasing the eligible retirement age, and also restoring COLAs, and maybe even exempting pension benefits from state income tax. All these are ways to sort of maybe bolster the level of benefits that were created through the pension reform. And then lastly, this item concerns the attitudes of Americans who expect to live longer but still expect to retire around 65 to 67. One of the things is, as people live longer, there's potentially a 30-year retirement period, but there may be a disconnect in terms of longevity, and then also how much people have been able to save. So that one of the things that this report showed was that a majority of people fear running out of money more than they fear death. So that's one of the consequences of, again, longevity versus how much money you save for retirement. So that concludes my report. Happy to take any questions.
Anyone have any questions? I found a lot of that information about people's attitudes quite interesting,
Yeah.
especially given what's going on in this world today.
Only one, what percentage do you think of county employees take advantage of long-term care?
I think I would defer that to our healthcare people.
Okay, we can, that would be interesting because that's an important part of people getting older. You know, I've seen that with clients and friends. You know, today it's probably, what would you say, maybe 6,000 to 10,000 a month to go to retirement living or have somebody come in the house. And that gets pretty damn expensive unless the family's gonna do it. So we maybe need to push that a little bit. I have a sister just going to a home and thank God she had some long-term care.
The number of people we have enrolled in long-term care is in Mr. Crima's monthly report, so it's not a big number at all.
No, that's what I thought. It is in this report, okay.
Yeah.
What's it, 5 to 10%?
Oh, not even that much. It's a small number because it's expensive. So, any other questions? We're on item B, staff activities report. Leilani.
Yes, good morning, Chair Robbins, members of the committee. My name is Leilani Ignacio, and I'm here on behalf of Cassandra Smith, who could not be here today because she's attending a conference. So I'm here to, we're actually excited to announce the comeback of the retiree wellness program for our retirees. The last time that we've held this in-person workshops was in 2019, pre-COVID, fall of 2019. So for the spring workshop that's scheduled, it will be held on the 16th of this month at Almanzor Court in Alhambra from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And copies of the invitations were distributed to you. So there will be 2 educational presentations that will be covering optimizing connectedness in golden years and also preventative dental care for our retirees. We plan for a fun-filled day event for our members that will include healthy snacks, free biometric screenings, and raffle prizes. We hope that you can join us. We invite you to join us. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Leilani?
Just a comment, Les. Do you think you could somehow bring in a long-term care program, just give them an opportunity to have a sheet on it, something, and then maybe if they want to follow up, would that be something that would be, you know, the 75 and 80-year-olds aren't going to buy it, but you've got younger people, maybe we'll come there and they want to take a look at it. Might be an interesting, because we have
Probably a good idea.
a program, I think.
Yeah, we could plan that for the fall workshops.
Yeah.
Vivian.
I would only encourage my colleagues on the board to attend. I've attended in the past, and it's surprising how many retirees are really happy to see you. They look at you and they realize you're the reason why our check is here. And it's just really a good contribution to the retirees to make them still feel connected to the county and to LACERA.
Any other comments? Thank you, and we are on item C, LACERA claims experience. Michael.
Thank you, Chair Robbins. And good morning, trustees. On the first exhibit, it contains the premium enrollment by medical and dental plans. There's been minimal change from the prior report. Next slide, please. This exhibit contains the claims experience for non-Medicare plans on a 12-month rolling basis. Anthem's year-over-year trend represents a 2.9% increase as of February 2024, which is a 1.5% increase from the prior report. Cigna's year-over-year trend represents a 6.2% increase as of February 2024, which is a 0.4% increase from the prior report. And Kaiser's year-over-year trend represents an 11.5% decrease compared to the prior period. Next slide, please. This contains the Anthem's claims experience on an aggregate basis and by plan. On an aggregate basis for all Anthem plans, the year-over-year trend increased slightly from 5.1% to 5.8% when compared to the prior report. Specifically for prudent buyer, the year-over-year trend increased by 13.3%, which is a 1.6% increase from the prior report. Next slide, please. This contains the Kaiser claims experience through January of 2024. The claims experience on a per member per month basis for the period ending January 31st, 2024 decreased by 10.9% when compared to the prior period. There's two factors that attribute to the decrease. One is a reduction in high-cost claimants with expenses exceeding $550,000. It was reduced from 6 individuals to 2 individuals. And the other factor would be the inpatient claims on a per member per month basis, which decreased by 39.9% when compared to the prior period. Next slide, please. This contains the high-cost claimant report. The percentage of non-Medicare members with Anthem exceeding the pooling point was stable compared to the prior period, while Cigna and Kaiser both experienced decreases. Next slide, please. This contains prescription drug rebates, which have been updated through December of 2023. For the most recent 12-month period, rebates increased 17.4% to $189 per retiree per month. Next slide, please. This contains the dental and claims experience on a rolling 12-month basis. The dental claims experience year-over-year trend increased by 2.1%, which is a decrease of 1.6% compared to the prior report. And the vision claims year-over-year trend increased by 8.4%, which is an improvement of 1.9% compared to the prior report. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you very much. Item D, Steve.
Good morning, board members. Just a quick update regarding kind of legislative activity. CMS just announced a 3.7% increase for the 2025 Medicare Advantage rates that they kind of share fund for insurance carriers like Kaiser, United Healthcare, et cetera. Those are the partners that LACERA works with. We'll probably have a good indication of what the 2025 rates will look like. Probably in about 6 to 8 weeks when CalPERS announces their 2025 rates. That'll give a good litmus test for us to kind of figure out where we're headed, but still may be some challenges ahead, but I think it will be better than last year, but I'll leave it at that and let's take any questions.
Is CalPERS, are they self-funded?
The Medicare Advantage plans are fully insured,
They're fully insured?
so it would give us a real good indication of, as an example, how is Kaiser adjusting their rates going into 2025 relative to the double-digit increases they were issuing to clients all of last year.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Well, Stephen, what kind of challenges? I mean, these are pretty good numbers that you just showed us.
The numbers that we're showing for Kaiser for your non-Medicare population, so it is a subset of the overall group. So they're very positive numbers. The Medicare Advantage numbers, the KIPSA, Kaiser Senior Advantage Plan rates, those are based on an entirely kind of different set of information, based mostly on geography, and as well as the Medicare Advantage reimbursements that Kaiser will receive from the federal government. So we're going to have to kind of wait it out and see. So again, looking at what CalPERS issues as an announcement in July will be a real good indication of what we might be looking at, because Kaiser works on a budget basis. So once they establish that budget, they're really going to kind of hold to that over kind of that entire time period. So we should have a real good sense of what that's going to look like here shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. We're on item 7, items for staff review.
Yes, Trustee Oakham requested that long-term care information be available at the wellness workshops.
Items for future agenda, 8.
Nothing.
And we're at good of the order. Does anybody have anything for good of the order, or we'll wait until the board meeting?
Mr. Chair, may I say something? I forgot to mention that during the workshops, Mr. Louis Lugo will be providing the welcome remarks to our retirees.
Who will?
Louis Lugo,
Oh, okay.
our Deputy CEO.
All right.
And we'll have massage therapists also,
Lucy?
and a popcorn machine.
There you go.
What's the CEO gonna do? Just wondering.
Over.
No one asked.
Massage care?
I'll
And
be
we're
there.
on item 10, adjournment. I need a motion.
So moved.
We are adjourned.